Esther stood for. But in the beginning of the book, we know the King Ahasuerus. Ahasuerus is throwing this big old feast. And right when he's throwing this feast, he calls for Queen Vashti. Queen Vashti refuses. And so when she refuses, he asks his officials, what should I do to the queen? And being that they told him, she can come no more before the king. Then we get to chapter 2. In chapter 2, the king gets lonely, and now he's looking for a new queen. In his look for that queen, there's one in particular by the name of Hadassah. Hadassah is now going to be among those who are going to be chosen. But Hadassah does something that could change history, something that could change her lineage and her family. Chapter 2, verse 10. Esther had not revealed her people or family, for Mordecai had charged her not to reveal it, meaning she did not make known who she was. Now, this is before she becomes queen. But immediately after she becomes queen, go to verse 19. When virgins were gathered together a second time, Mordecai sat within the king's gate. Now Esther had not revealed her family and her people, just as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther obeyed the command of Mordecai as when she was brought up by him. Therefore, my topic for you today is hiding but not hidden. Somebody say hiding but not hidden. And for a subtopic, write the decree. To hide. Hide means to put or keep out of sight. To cover up or prevent the disclosure of. To cut off from sight or to keep oneself out of sight. Now that is to hide. But when you are hidden, hidden says, I am not easily noticed or obscure. I am difficult to find, or I am not accessible to view. One of the most interesting things about this story is the word hide. At the beginning of the story, we learn that Vashti is put or kept out of sight, meaning she could come no more before the king. But on the other hand, Esther covered up the fact that she was a Jew. And she did this by changing her name. She goes from Hadassah, which means star, to Esther, which means hidden. So she goes from being a star to being hidden. Now, isn't it funny how we go through these serious lengths to hide who we are? We don't want people to know who we are. We don't want people to know that we got trials, that we got tribulations, that we're struggling. We go through serious lengths to hide, all because we don't want people to know you. So Esther hides who she is. See, there are two ways to hide. You can hide by being forced into hiding, which is what happened to Queen Vashti. She was forced into hiding, or you can be placed into hiding. See, the difference is when you are forced into hiding, it's permanent. But when you are placed into hiding, it's temporary. So that lets you know right off the bat that Esther was going to be temporarily hidden. Let me help you for a minute here. I was singing one Sunday and I was praising up here on the praise team, and I was trying to figure out what my topic was going to be, and God spoke to me. He said, hiding but not hidden. And I said, hiding but not hidden? What does that mean, God? So I go back to my seat and I start to write, because when I hear God speaking to me, I have to write everything down that he says. So he says, hiding but not hidden. He said, you seem to have forgotten that I brought you out of hiding. Let me see if I can help you a little bit here. When I was 26 years old, I had gotten married. I got married. 6 months after I got married, my husband caught a murder case. He got a life without parole sentence. Immediately when he went to prison, I came home. And the only thing that I wanted to do was hide. And when I say I wanted to hide, I just wanted to go crawl up under a rock and just die because I was hurting inside. I was struggling, I had issues, and all I wanted to do was just hide. I didn't want anybody to know what I was going through. I hid to the point where it would take an act of Congress just to get from my car to inside the building. Because if I could get from the car to inside the building without somebody asking me some questions, I would be all right. I didn't want you to probe and ask me, are you married? What does your husband do? Because I didn't have any answers. I just wanted to hide. See, I might be talking to myself because ain't nobody in here like that. Y'all ain't got nothing to hide. Y'all ain't got no secrets up in here. But see, I'm going to be real with you today. I just wanted to hide. I would get up in the morning, I would go to work, get to my job, pray that I could just get through the day without somebody asking me about myself. Because I didn't want nobody to know what I was going through. I just wanted to hide. When I got home from work, I'd go to my room, shut the door, and I would hide. The only time I came out of my room was when I wanted to eat, get something to drink, and I had to go to work. Those were the only reasons I came out of my room. And every now and then, my mom would come back there and she'd check on me just to make sure I was all right, just to make sure that I was alive, because all I wanted to do was hide. See, we go through some serious lengths to hide because we don't want nobody to know what's going on in our lives. So I don't know what your struggles are, whether you got addictions. I don't know what you're hiding with. But it's a terrible thing when you have to hide 24/7. It becomes hard to bear when you're trying to hide. See, this is what we do. Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. Don't ask me, because I just might tell you a lie. You know, we hide. We don't want nobody to know what we're going through. We do everything possible to hide. And I mean, we literally swear by it. We live by it because we don't want somebody to know our intimate details. I would avoid people. I put my hand in my pocket just so I wouldn't have to show my wedding ring because I didn't want nobody to know. That's how bad I wanted to hide what I was going through. I wouldn't make eye contact with people, because eye contact meant I had to have a conversation with you. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You don't want to make eye contact because that means now I'm forced to have a conversation with you. But see, this is what we do. We get up every morning, we put on our best dress, we put on our clothes, and we try to look good. Then all of a sudden, we remember we got some issues. We got some serious issues here. So what I want to do now, I want to cover up my issues. Oh, that's a hurt. Oh, my God. My husband is beating me. Oh, my God, I got addictions. Oh, I'm an alcoholic. Oh, all I want to do is hide. So what we do is we cover up. Come on, ladies. I know you got a compact in your purse. You know we want to cover up crow's feet. We want to cover up those wrinkles and those lines that are hiding deep within us. We don't want nobody to know that we're struggling. And once we got it all said and done, once we've covered up every wrinkle, every crevice, that we're being abused, that our children are incarcerated, that our father is an alcoholic, that my husband is beating me, that people are talking about me, that I'm lying, that I'm cheating, that I'm stealing, once I've got all the bases covered, the last thing I do is I cover all bases And now I'm really hidden because people really can't see me now, because I think I've got it all covered. Anybody like that out here today? You think you got it all covered? You done put on your makeup. And the last thing you want to do is you want to make sure that no wrinkle, no crevice, no pore is showing, because you want to hide. But see, this is what Esther does. Esther is hiding. I know it was a tough thing for Esther, because day in and day out, all Esther wanted to do was be who she was. See, there are 4 reasons that we hide, and you want to write these down. We hide because of shame, guilt, hurt, and fear. Those are the 4 main reasons we hide. And believe it or not, those 4 things go hand in hand. Shame, guilt, hurt, and fear. That is why we hide. Shame says it is a painful emotion caused by a sense of guilt, embarrassment, disgrace, or unworthiness. A painful emotion caused by having done something wrong or improper. That's shame. Fear says it's a feeling of agitation, anxiety caused by the presence or the imminence of danger. We become fearful. When I'm hurt, to feel or cause to feel pain, damage, or repair. Guilt, the fact of being responsible for the commission of an offense, remorseful awareness of having done something wrong. Shame, hurt, fear, and guilt, reasons that we hide. Turn to Genesis 3, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to want to just hide. This is the book of beginnings. In Genesis 3, we're looking at Adam and Eve. Genesis 3, verse 6 through 10. So when the woman saw that their tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Somebody say crime. Then the eyes of both of them were opened. They knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. Say cover up. Verse 8, and they heard the sound of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden, which means they ran and hid. Somebody say, you can run, but you can't hide. Y'all know that saying, you can run, but you can't hide. And it is so true, because Adam and Eve wanted to cover up the crime that they had just committed. Not only did they want to cover it up, they wanted to hide. Y'all know the TV show CSI, and I watch that sometime. On CSI, at the very, very beginning of the show, one of the main things they show you that a crime has been committed. Well, once that crime is committed, the interesting thing is the person that commits the crime now does everything possible to try to clean it up. Now, see, I don't know about you. Have you ever done something that all of a sudden you want to cover it up? See, that's what we do. We do certain things, and now all of a sudden we want to cover it up. You cover it up, and now you want to go hide. You don't want nobody to know what you just did, or the act that just occurred, or the struggles that you're going through. You don't want nobody to know that you've done something or you're embarrassed. So we struggle. And then verse 9 says, then the Lord God called to Adam and said to him, where are you? Meaning, in what place and what state are you in? Because if you knew what place and what state you were in, then you wouldn't have to hide. Come on, somebody. If you knew what place and what state you were in, you would not have to hide. So God says, where are you? The same question he's asking you today. Where